watching Sheyenne Mustang Media.
It is a cool Friday evening here at Century Health Mustang Stadium. We have some EDC AA football here tonight on Sheyenne Mustang Media. Tonight's matchup features the visiting Fargo Davies Eagles and the top-ranked team in the state, the West Fargo Sheyenne Mustangs. This is the last game of the regular season before postseason play begins on Friday, October 29th. Jackson Miller here on the call tonight along with Dan Wolf and Eric Cano. This is the Bell Bank Mortgage pregame show. Sheyenne is coming off a big win against Bismarck Century last Friday by a score of 14-0. The Mustangs captured their second ever win against the Patriots and snapped the Patriots' 29-game winning streak and handed Bismarck Century its first loss since the 2018 Dakota Bowl, which was against the Bismarck High Demons. Cheyenne was also the first team since 2012 to hold the Bismarck Century Patriots to 0 points on the scoreboard. The Mustangs have now captured the #1 seed for the playoffs, and for the first time in program history, have captured the #1 spot in the state poll. They're 8-0 on the season, and they hope to finish out the regular season here tonight unbeaten. Guys, how you feeling tonight?
You know, obviously coming off of a big win last week, the Mustangs probably are a little worried about this game. It could set up as one of those trap games. You have a couple of days off from school. The fan section isn't quite as loud. Perhaps you're a little excited about stealing that #1 spot from Bismarck Century, and in comes a really hungry Davies team that really wants to prove something tonight because they've been knocked out of the playoffs for the better part of the season, and they're a good football team with a pretty strong record and sitting #4 in the state. So this is going to be a pretty exciting one, Jackson.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, for Davies, knowing because of this unique setup, this first time that we've had the AA and the A 11-man here, really trying to figure that out. That QRF has meant that Davies has been eliminated from playoff contention for quite a while. But make no mistake about it, that's a proud group over there, and they're looking to prove a point tonight. Even if they can't make it into the playoffs, they're surely going to try and pull off an upset.
Yeah, the Davies Eagles, they come into this one 6-2. They are, however, eliminated from playoff contention, as you guys said, as only 3 teams from the EDC will be in the playoffs this year due to the new format. Davies has lost both division games this year to Shanley and West Fargo High, who are also in the state poll, with the Deacons being at the #5 spot and the Packers being at the #3 spot. The Eagles are, however, coming off a 52-28 victory against the Fargo North Spartans last Friday and are looking to finish the season off strong here and hand the Mustangs their first loss of the year. So that's going to do it for our little kind of introducing about the 2 teams here tonight. We'll talk more about them as we'll come back with the starting lineups. Great job by the band there playing the national anthem. So now as you take a look at the history between these two teams, Sheyenne leads the all-time series 5-2, with Sheyenne winning 35-29 in Week 4 of 2015, 22-12 in Week 4 of 2017, 14-12 in Week 4 of 2018, 35-29 in Week 8 of 2019, and 29-0 in Week 7 of last year. Sheyenne has won the last 4 meetings. So Davies on the other end took 2 of the first 3 matchups with the 52-38 victory in Week 4 of 2014 and the 30-28 victory in Week 5 of 2016. So Davies is looking to flip the tide here tonight between these two teams.
And I think that's just whenever these two schools meet on the field, on the court, whatever it might be, there's always a lot of pride on the line, and each one sees, I think, a victory against the other as a pretty special thing. So certainly Davies is going to be looking to, as you mentioned, Jackson, flip the script a little bit and see if they can get on a winning streak against the Mustangs and kind of play spoiler and kind of maybe shake up those playoff seedings as we look towards next week in the opening of the playoff run for the Mustangs.
Yeah, there's obviously no love lost between these two teams. They've been competing against each other for years. They are kind of the premier programs on the south side of Fargo in a lot of respects, in a lot of different sports. And so these kids, they know each other. They want to win this game. There's pride involved. And there probably doesn't need to be a scoreboard or an audience to make these kids want to play hard tonight. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, Davies is a great program. They're 59-57 all-time with 8 playoff appearances since they first started back in 2010. They've only missed the playoffs 3 times prior to this year. This year's going to be their 4th time missing the playoffs. They're 6-5 in the playoffs. They have 1 state title under their belts, which came in 2014, where they blew out Minot in the state championship 41-10, and they finished 11-1 on the season. And they reached the semifinal as well in 2018, where they lost to Bismarck High. You know what's unique is if Sheyenne won their semifinal matchup against Century that year, they could have ended up playing Davies in the 2018 Dakota Bowl, so that would have been cool to see. But, pretty good tie between these two programs. And so, Cheyenne's looking to extend their winning streak against Davies to 5 here tonight.
Davies is also coming off a real nice win last week against Fargo North. Who's had a nice season as well at one lower level. But we went up and played Fargo North at North, and they fought with us hard in the first half. And Davies, they really stuck it to North last week, at least offensively. They were kind of running up and down the field on them. So it'll be interesting to see how Josh Karch, defensive coordinator, is able to scheme his defense and try to stop these guys tonight, because there's 2 players in particular I think they're going to be looking at. They have 2 running backs that really kind of pose problems for them, and that's Oliver Luck, number 3, and number 6, Raymond Brown. Both of those running backs are fast, explosive guys, can make big plays happen. You can turn a 4-yard run, break 1 tackle, and turn it into 50. Yep. So those are 2 guys that give defensive coordinators a lot of headache, and I'm sure they're going to be focusing in on them today.
For Sheyenne, I think obviously the opponent is different this week, but the goals are going to be the same. If they're able to control the line of scrimmage the way they did against Century, the defensive line did an outstanding job, and we mentioned Theron Parson a bunch of times last week, how well he played and how he just lived in the Century backfield. And so I'm sure Coach Karch is hoping something similar to that plays out. And again, there's not enough superlatives, I think, to talk about how well the Sheyenne offensive line has played this year. They control the line of scrimmage. They open up lanes for Josh Henrik. They open up lanes for any running back. They open up passing possibilities, which we saw a little bit for the first time last week. So really, I think if they can control that line of scrimmage one more time, they're going to be in excellent shape for the night.
Yeah, the Mustangs, I think, really, though, they're, as you said, you guys, their defensive line was huge last week. Theron Parson had 3 sacks. Carter Menz had a couple sacks as well. Matt Stry up there at linebacker made some key plays coming up there in the gap and making some big stops. The Century offense, they were coming into that game with averaging 321.5 yards of total offense, and then they were held to just 4 yards of total offense in the third quarter last Friday.
And you got to mention, too, the defensive backs. They ended up with 3 interceptions last week.
Yep.
No matter what Century tried at every level, there was an answer, whether that was the defensive line, whether that was the linebackers, or whether that was some of the guys in the corners and the safeties. And so they were kind of all over the place last week. And certainly Davies brings a little different look than Century does. So we'll see if that can kind of play out in Davies' favor, to see if they can do something a little bit different and solve some of the problems that Century could not figure out last week.
Yeah, Davies, some of their top rushers, their quarterback Dylan Fellner is out, although he was one of their top rushers. He had 76 carries for 391 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground as a quarterback. So Mason Claybo is going to step up for him tonight as a freshman. He's a great athlete, though, as well. He got some varsity basketball action last year as an 8th grader, so the kid can bring it. So we'll see how Sheyenne handles him.
Yeah, that's probably not the same kind of way you approach an underclassman. Obviously you'd think, oh, they're bringing in a freshman quarterback. This guy's the eyes are going to be big, and he's going to be nervous. And Mason Claybo is a gamer. The moment's not going to be too big for him. He is maybe a little undersized at quarterback, and we got some guys that can maybe knock him around. And it doesn't really matter how much of a gamer you are. You start getting knocked around a little bit, that does make it a little difficult to play quarterback.
So the Mustangs are going to kick off here to start the evening. And here we are. The regular season finale is underway. It's going to be received right around the 30, tackled right around the 38.
And with that, we'll hear our defensive starters.
Kirk could be defensive end, Mapleton Elementary.
Connor Menz, DN, out of the Horace Elementary.
Dan Parson, defensive tackle, Rita Murphy Elementary.
Andy Cook, defensive line, Aurora Elementary School.
Nick Renner, linebacker, Horace Elementary.
Matt Schreiber, linebacker, Eastwood Elementary.
Tanner Hagel, linebacker, the Horace Elementary.
Brady Duneheffer, cornerback, Aurora Elementary.
Noah Olson, cornerback, Horace Elementary.
Kellen Entz, safety, Freedom Elementary.
Tate Gustafson, safety, Independence Elementary.
So that first play goes to a little bubble screen on the right-hand side, and Davies looks like they picked up about 3 yards on that.
Definitely not something we saw last week, a 5-wide receiver set for Bismarck Century. So, as you mentioned, Aaron, this will look a little different and pose some different sorts of challenges for the Mustang defense tonight as they go with 5 wide receivers again.
2nd and 6 from the 42. Claybo's going to drop back once again. He's going to look deep. Pass is caught over the middle there. Away up to the 37. I believe that's by Daniel York.
With the lead, number 17, Mason Claybo is the quarterback. Pass complete to number 11.
Or number 11, excuse me. That's going to be Andrew Lacqua, 5'11 senior.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I think, Coach Newton and Coach Karch expected. They're going to try to, widen this field out and see if they can make the
Claybo, he breaks the tackle in the backfield. He's going to keep it, and he gets up to around the 30.
And this is what they want to do. They want to make you tackle in space and hope that they can break 1 or 2 and turn it into a big play, and so they pick up 8 there on first.
I think it's going to force Sheyenne to decide if they can keep that base defense out there. We know how strong their linebacker play has been, but if you're facing 4 and 5 wide receivers the whole time, you may be having to look swapping out some additional D-backs.
Claybo drops back once again. Davies aggressive through the air. Pass is caught. Way up to the 15 now. Davies inside the red zone already.
Good drive, and it looks like similar play call kind of all the way through here, trying to see if they can get that kind of that slot receiver on kind of the strong side of their formation open, and they've gotten it open a couple of times and marched down about 40 yards here.
Stop was made by Matt Tribe, one of the top defensive men for the Mustangs this year.
Claybo doing a nice job getting the ball out quick.
1st and 10 from the 17. Claybo drops back again, dumps it off over to the sideline around the 10.
So this is where we'll see, as that field shrinks, the closer you get to the end zone, the cushion can't be as big that Sheyenne has been giving those Davies receivers. So we'll see if Davies is going to continue to try and tack through the air or maybe switch things up with maybe a quarterback keeper or maybe some kind of jet sweep or something like that. But it looks like they're setting up for a pass again.
Davies.
And there's
once
that little
again,
pump fake.
Passes way back in the end zone.
For a moment there, he did come uncovered. I thought the defensive back did a pretty good job initially on the pump fake. They kind of sold that hitch route about 5 times in a row, and then this time it was a hitch and go, and opened up for just a second, unable to connect, though.
He was looking for number 6, Ray Brown, on that play, who caught the pass 2 plays ago. So 3rd and 3. Claybo, he's sacked in the backfield off the blitz. Number 8, Carter Menz, gets the sack. And the Davies Eagles are stopped here.
And you can see in the replay how fast he comes off the ball.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the coaches over at Davies are going to look at that and see if they can kind of
take advantage of that.
Yeah, see if they can maybe look to see if they can get him to jump off sides. But now we got a 4th and 8 here after the men's sack.
So we got 4th and 8. Mustangs looking to make a stand here inside their own red zone. I think that's going to be refs call something here.
It's going to be
Looks like going to be a timeout on the
timeout.
defense.
Timeout on the Mustangs. So we're going to come back and take a short break.
Sheyenne Mustang.
So we are back here. Davies inside the red zone. It's going to be 4th and 8 from the 15, so the Mustangs looking to stop him here. Claybo in the shotgun.
Strong side of the field is
here's Claybo. He's going to be sacked again. The Mustangs make a stand. Carter Menz with his 2nd sack of the night already. Gets 2 sacks in a row.
Again, as you're moving downfield, I think Claybo did a really nice job of locking on. That would be the downside, but making a quick decision and getting rid of that ball. But as you get closer and closer to the end zone, there's just not that type of spacing any longer, and so you have to go through your progression of reads. And the last 2 plays, obviously Claybo hasn't had enough time because Menz has come like a rocket off of that defensive end position and gotten 2 sacks in a row.
Carter Menz, coming into this one, he had 49 tackles, 28 solo, 21 assisted, and he had 4 sacks already on the season. So he's got 6 sacks now on the year with those 2 sacks that we just saw, and he's got 7 tackles for loss.
So the first run there goes to Hendricks. I think he only picked up about a yard or a yard and a half on that one.
Mustangs are going to go to him a lot. Last week he had 25 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown, along with 2 catches and 24 yards last Friday against Bismarck Century. 2nd and 9 from the 24. Going to be hand up to the left side.
Now that one I think went to number 41. I think Race Wilson on the left edge there.
That was a play that Sheyenne was able to really hurt Century with last week. Davies does a nice job of stopping that and setting up a 3rd and 6 for this one.
Race Wilson had a nice week last night. I believe he told me he had around over 80 yards against a solid Century defense, so that was good to see from the sophomore. He had a couple big carries earlier in the game.
And he's the lightning guy. He gets that burst. We saw it early in the Century game. He got about a 40-yard run. So
here's Connor Entz. Goes to his right side. He's stuffed right around the 30. Not a whole lot on these first few plays for the Mustang offense. Davies Eagles coming up big on the defensive side.
That was actually Caden Rahr who's back this week.
Caden Rahr's back.
Yeah, so that's a nice addition back into the backfield for the Mustangs, but that's going to leave us with about a 4th and 2. Just on the other side of the 30-yard line, and it looks like Coach is willing to take a chance here and see if they can turn this into a first down.
I was so used to seeing Connor Entz take that carry last week, so excuse me if I make a mistake here. Here's 4th and 2. Mustangs looking to continue the drive. It's going to be hand up to Hendricks up the middle.
Looks like it's going to be pretty close, but he did get to the other side of the first down marker, I think. And so that's going to move the chains.
Hendricks does a good job of fighting for extra yards and just getting that nose of the football past the first down.
Not a lot of linebackers in the state of North Dakota. Probably not even a lot of kids in college that want to meet him in the hole and try to bring him backwards. So
nice job by Davies of gang tackling to bring him down. But if you don't, it's really hard, as you said, Aaron, to stand him up on that initial contact, and he keeps those legs churning.
All right, here's a new first down. Morgan drops back. He dumps it off. I believe that's Caden Rahr.
That was actually to Josh Hendricks.
Josh
there
Hendricks.
On the
Josh
sideline.
Hendricks.
And you could tell by the way the defensive back kind of fell backwards trying to make the tackle there. That's just like we said. You know, Josh is coming in at about, what, 220 pounds?
Yeah, 6 foot, 220 pounds.
Not a lot of D-backs want to meet him at the shoulder height, and he got taken advantage there trying to go a little too high on Josh, and Josh got another yard or two off of that after the hit. So nice pass. Good job on first down.
2nd and 5. Here's a handoff to the left side. That's going to be Josh Hendricks again on the carry. Picks up around a couple yards on that. And the Mustangs, you know, their offense really is, you know, they shoot it up. If you read the forum, you know, it talks about their drives are probably around 11 minutes on both of those scoring drives. So they take up a lot of time off the clock.
I believe our second scoring drive actually took place in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And it was only our second drive. So they were definitely willing to sustain those long drives. And I think this is going to be what we're going to see here, too. I think
there's going to be a flag.
And just like Century, Davies falls for that little motion off the cadence, and that does get the Mustangs their first down.
I would think that's something that anybody that Sheyenne would face in the playoffs next week and moving forward has seen that now against Century and here against Davies. That's something that they're going to work hard at to try and prevent from happening.
It's a little tricky.
It's going to be handoff to Rahr.
But that was just like Century last week where it turned into a first down. And when you can move the sticks without having to run a play, that's definitely what you're hoping for Sheyenne.
I talked to Coach Karch about that this week, too. I said, you know, it's funny how many people fall for that. But, you know, when you're a defensive lineman and you're trying to get that advantage, you're getting hit a little bit quicker than you want when the offense knows the snap count. Sometimes you want to take advantage and you get that quick jump. And even in that case there, he only jumped about 1.5 feet, but that was too much and turned into a first down for the Mustangs.
2nd and 7 from the 49. He's going to hand it off to Rahr. He cuts up back to his left, gets up past the 45. Picks up.
Looks like a first down run there
picks
for
up a
Rahr.
Picks up a first down.
Nice job finding the hole through the tackle there and getting upfield and picking up about 8 yards there for Caden Rahr. Nice to have him back. He's certainly one of the important pieces to these Mustangs offense. You know, obviously Race Wilson and Ants, they did a really nice job supplementing coming in, but Caden brings something a little different. He's a little taller, a little bigger, a little faster than Ants.
Here's a handoff to Wilson, I believe. He cuts up back to his right. Picks up only a couple.
Wilson and Ants, they did a really nice job supplementing coming in, but Caden brings something a little different. He's a little taller. Slot back positions. Boy, tough to defend that.
It really is. And Workington does such a nice job of hiding that ball, and it's tough for a defense to know which back has it or if he's keeping that on kind of that option look, that RPO look, and it's really difficult for a defense. Even though Sheyenne is showing essentially that same formation every time, you can coach kids up all you want, but it's much easier said than it is to actually do it out on the field.
There was a play handed off to Josh Hendricks up the middle. Picks up a couple.
I think that was about a 4 or 5 yard run there.
4 or 5 yard run.
3rd and 3.
3rd and 3 from the 37.
And that's what makes it tough there. You know, Hendricks, you know, there's congestion in the middle of the line, and he still drags him for 4 or 5 yards. But at the end of the night, I'm sure these defensive tackles for Davies are going to say somebody's got to help us out and hit him in the hole sooner.
Another play goes to Josh. He trucks his way to the first down. And, you know, the Mustangs are keeping the clock rolling.
You know, there's congestion in the middle of the line, and he still drags him.
And we're starting to see what's been the recipe for success for Sheyenne for the majority of the year is that offensive line dominating, making that first contact, and it forces those linebackers from any opposing defense to come up. And when we talked about, when you see Hendricks in the hole, that is not an easy task to try and bring him down. So nice job by the Mustang line here, creating holes.
Yeah, this one goes to Rar. Davies D-line there to make the stop.
It forces
only a
those
pickup of a couple on that one. I think Rar maybe coming off of a couple of weeks out. He's running a little high right now. I think he's going to probably have to get a little bit back into the swing of things, get those shoulder blades, those shoulder pads a little bit lower, and instead of taking that contact in the belly, he's taking that contact and delivering a punch yourself.
Caden Rar is, you know, he's one of the top rushers in the EDC. Coming into this one after a 2-week absence, he had 63 carries, 515 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This one goes to Hendricks on the left side.
On the carry, number 32, Josh Henry.
Doesn't look to be a lot of room on that one, so it's going to be a fairly lengthy third down here. But obviously, Coach Wolf, this is going to be a 4-down territory.
If it's 4-down territory on your own 32, it's certainly going to be 4-down territory on your opponent's 32. So I'm sure Coach Newton isn't looking to think that you have to get all 6 yards here on this 3rd and 6 situation. But we talked about last week over and over again how the difference between Century leaving themselves in really long situations and Sheyenne able to churn out some yards.
Morgantin looks deep. That one's too strong.
I think he was looking for Race Wilson on a slot.
He had pressure coming in there from one of the defensive tackles for Davies. I think it was number 64 there, Caleb Vleen. And so I think he had to get rid of it a little bit sooner than he had wanted to. Otherwise, he would have waited for that receiver to kind of clear that space and maybe throw it out there for him.
So 4th down coming up for the Mustangs. Davies looking to make a stop of their own.
And I
believe he got the D-line to jump for it again, so the Mustangs are going to get around 5 yards here, so it's going to be 4th and short.
And that one, again, just like you said, Coach Wolf, it's hard to watch sometimes. This one doesn't give him the first down, but this puts you in Josh Hendrick territory for a dive.
Just going to go up the middle with Josh Hendricks.
Twice on this drive alone. And that was something that just really hurt Century last week, and it is continuing to be the situation for the Davies defense tonight.
We haven't seen quarterback run yet either.
4th and 1 from the 22. Yeah, I believe the Mustangs will run that triple option at some point. Yep, here's a dive to Hendricks up the middle. He'll pick up the first down. Actually, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he's
he got
the 20,
it.
so he's going to be down
20,
at the 19.
He's going to pick up the first down. Picks up around 2 yards on that. Moves the chains. Mustangs inside the red zone now.
And this is where it gets tough because you got obviously the field shrinks up a little bit. Like I said, they haven't seen quarterback run yet, but at some point Davies is going to see all these backs getting the handoffs. Hendricks. You get these guys flying on the side with Race Wilson and Caden Rar, and then all of a sudden Warkentine tucks it.
Hendricks. Or no, it's going to be a triple option. Grant Warkentine's going to keep it. Fakes off the handoff to Hendricks. He gets inside the 10. Warkentine keeps it on the ground. Warkentine does a nice job running the football. He's one of the top rushers in the EDC as well.
So that was the call I was kind of waiting on, Coach. There it was.
Yep.
And just a great job of Warkentine selling that, keeping that ball in the belly of Hendricks as long as he could, and then pulling it out of there and reading what the defense was going to bite on. And as a defense, you know you have to gang tackle Hendricks, so that's where you go, and that opens up an opportunity for the Mustangs. So
they take a timeout here. We're going to take a short break.
Welcome back, everybody, to Essentia Sheyenne Mustangs Stadium. We'd like to recognize our sponsor for this evening, Bell Bank Mortgage. When you choose Bell Bank Mortgage, you'll partner with people that are part of the fabric of the communities we serve. At Bell, people come first. No matter where you are, you'll see the Bell difference in your mortgage experience with us.
We also want to remind you guys, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sheyenne Mustang Media. Click the bell so you can get notifications for upcoming live streams. Also, check out our Instagram at mustang.post, our Twitter at Mustang Post with the capital M and P, and our Facebook at Sheyenne Mustang Media.
So that's the end of the first quarter. Mustangs still carrying the ball, moving it forward. And this is exactly kind of what the MO is for the Mustangs.
Here we go. So we have to the right side.
Hendricks going to get close to the goal line.
Gets close to the goal line.
And at some point, you know, just like Century, second half, are you going to start saying, well, let's pinch guys into the interior. We got to find somebody other than Josh Hendricks to beat us. And then that's when the edge becomes soft and you get those big gash runs too. But, boy, the way this first drive is going for the Mustangs, you really couldn't ask for anything better.
All right, here we go. Mustangs at the 2.
Warkentine under center this time.
Here's a handoff. I believe that's going to be Hendricks. He's going to be in for the touchdown. His 17th touchdown of the season. Josh Hendricks hits the end zone once again.
Josh doing what Josh does. You know, he's just a bulldozer in there, and he finds the end zone yet again. I'm sure at some point, Coach Warmeyer over there at the Davies side, he's probably got to say, hey, we got to find an answer for this, but at least we got to get rid of those penalties so we can have a shot.
Yeah.
You know, third and 2, 4th and 2 with Josh in the backfield. Boy, it's going to be tough. They got us in some distance situations, and
that extra point's going to be good.
Hey, that's going to yield some
That's
claps.
a rarity.
We've struggled really on the extra point this year, and to be honest with you, Coach, I was thinking about this. Jackson, tell me about what you guys think. You know, if there is kind of a blemish in the armor of the Mustangs, if the game gets tight, being able to convert on these point-after touchdowns probably is going to come into play at some point in the playoffs.
Especially in the postseason when the games are a lot closer. You know, I don't think the Mustangs are going to come out here, even on their home turf, and just roll through teams. I mean, hopefully they do, but, you know, teams play different in the postseason, so, you know, those every last points are critical.
Well, and every coach has, you know, those 2 or 3 plays they really like from that 2-3 yard line, you know, that 3-yard distance. Well, you know, if you burn some of those up in trying to score or in 1 or 2 of your point after attempts going for a 2-point conversion, then you don't have as many in your pocket and it gets more difficult to score. So if we could find that ability to convert with the 1-point PATs on a consistent basis, I think you're right, guys. I think life is going to be a lot easier once playoffs come.
So the Mustangs convert on their opening drive once again, just like they did against Century last week. So 7-0 now. They'll kick off. Davies looking to make a run on their drive this time. They did get in the red zone last drive, but the Mustangs did make a 4th down stand. There's a
Short
little
kickoff again.
Blooper to the right.
Fair catch there.
Fair catch.
Good field position, though.
So, you know, as we talk about this, we talk a lot about the time-consuming drives for the Mustangs, and that's great. The flip side for the opposing offense, especially an offense that at least the first drive was very predicated on timing and getting rid of that ball, it's really hard to develop any kind of rhythm to that offense when you sit for big chunks of time. So we'll see as they come out with that same 5-receiver set. We'll see if Claybo's able to continue to kind of find that rhythm or if that layoff is really going to hurt them.
Claybo's going to drop back. Pass is deflected, and that's going to be incomplete.
Good hands there at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, and, Coach, it's not just that, but, you know, this is probably the first time it's really felt like fall out there. It's a little chilly, and so that rhythm,
cool.
You know, that Claybo tries, especially when you're the thrower of the football, boy, you want to stay warm, you want to stay loose, and when you have those long drives where you're sitting and just watching, that can really impact you in the temperatures.
2nd down and 10 from the 39. Claybo takes the snap, looks to his left side. He's going to keep it. He's tackled right around the 40, so not a whole lot of yardage on that play. 3rd and long coming up.
I think that was Tribe that met him in the hole there. Nice job there by Matt Tribe. He's one of the best linebackers in the conference, probably in the state of North Dakota. Boy, he's got a nose for the football.
Matt Tribe, he's got 64 total tackles coming into this one. He's got 10 tackles for loss.
And again, Sheyenne is giving Davies 2-3 seconds for Clabo to make a read and get rid of that ball, and if not, they're getting on him. And so if he's not seeing something quickly, it's going to be really difficult.
Claypool's pass is caught.
I think that was Noah Olson on the tackle there for about a 4-yard gain is all. Oh, that was Entz on the tackle. So he's flipped to the other side now.
Well, we saw Karch talking with the defense down on the sideline quite a bit after that first Davies drive, probably looking to make a couple of adjustments and how they wanted to attack that.
I'm guessing that he's going to use the athleticism that Entz brings now that he's not playing running back here, kind of using him on that slot receiver.
Andrew Lacqua caught his second pass of the night on that last play. Claypool drops back again. He's going to float it over the middle.
Ooh, that got
incomplete.
A little dangerous.
You can't just lollipop it over the middle like that.
There's a little center screen there, but it was also congested. I think that back got a little further upfield than he probably wanted to. And, yeah, dangerous pass for Clabo to just kind of loft it in there.
So now the
Mustang's
Eagles
going to take over, I think, here on the turnover on downs. I think what they were missing on that screen pass, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but he took a longer drop than he's taken, and so maybe there was a little tell on the defensive side. The lineman saw that this was not a typical pass drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a 2 or 3 step drop, and it's getting rid of it, and suddenly he's retreating in that 5-step, 7-step drop and creating that gap that I'm sure they've talked about. And, again, that's probably something that a freshman just, lack of reps, lack of opportunities to work with that first group.
Yep. So we want
– go ahead.
Yeah. we do want to remind you guys we're going to meet the Mustangs starting offensive lineup here, as we forgot to do that on their first drive.
Mason Hart, left tackle, the South Elementary.
Sam Carpenter, left guard, and the Westside Elementary.
Oakley Eagleson, center, Aurora Elementary. Dawson Goldie, right guard, the Horace Elementary. Go Hornets.
Brennan Selheim, right tackle, Eastwood Elementary.
Logan Holsling, wide receiver, the Horace Elementary. Go Hornets.
Xander Newton, wide receiver, the Aurora Elementary. Caden Rahr, running back, Freedom Elementary.
Connor Entz, running back, the Freedom Elementary. Go Flyers. Joshua Henricks, fullback, the Horace Elementary. Go Hornets. Bzz, bzz.
Grant Michael Workentine, the first quarterback, the Horace Elementary.
So that last play, that long pass by Workentine was intended for Logan Holsting. He dropped it just at the last second. So 3rd and 8 coming up from the 44. Workentine rolls to his right. Looks downfield. He's going to keep it himself. Oh, he actually gets rid of it. Passes knocked away out of bounds.
Yeah, the rule on that one is any part of your body behind the line of scrimmage, you are still behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like he got right to the line of scrimmage, maybe a little left foot across.
Yeah.
But as long as any part of you is back, you're still behind it. And he did get rid of it before he got through that line of scrimmage. And good job by Davies there holding the defense tough on the sideline. Sometimes you want to come up and make a tackle on the quarterback. And good defense here, and that's going to be a 4th and about 8. Tough position for the Mustangs.
And that last pass was a designed rollout for Workentine. The play before that with the drop ball, he kind of created that time for himself by buying time with his legs and moving to his left.
He's looking for Race
the Mustangs were set on that, unfortunately.
Workentine was looking for Race Wilson downfield on that last play. There's going to be flag now. Coach Newton looking like, is wondering what happened.
And I did see some motion, I think, on the left-hand side. I know Coach Newton a little frustrated with that, but it did look like maybe a couple of the linemen were still kind of getting into their stance when Workentine called for the football. And
he does not look too happy.
And that's going to mean we're going to be punting here.
Yep, fourth, and even if they aren't able to convert there, but 4th and 8 versus 4th and 13, there's a big difference, and go ahead and punt this one away.
Nice little bounce there for the Mustangs.
Nice bounce. Could be right around
20-yard line.
20-yard line, right at the 20. So the Davies Eagles will start there.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in about 1 minute.
So we are back here. Eagles looking to try to get downfield once again. Claybo, incomplete.
I think the pass there was to Raymond Brown.
Yep, Raymond Brown was the intended receiver on that play. He's been targeted 2-3 times here tonight already. He had one target deep in the end zone.
And I think that's what, again, Davies was looking for Oliver Luck and Raymond Brown out of those slot spots, trying to get those guys open. And they're explosive players. They're shifty and they're powerful. Mustangs doing a nice job keeping them in check so far.
I believe the Eagles have not ran the ball all night. Claybo scrambles. He just gets rid of that one.
I think they're going to say he did get out of the pocket, but that's just one more shot that you don't want your quarterback to be taking.
Heady play for a freshman to know to get rid of it, but I think there is some laundry on the field there, so I wonder if they're not going to get them for an intentional grounding here. Yep.
It's going to be intentional grounding on Mason Claybo. Didn't get quite out of the pocket in time.
And that one hurts because it is a loss of down penalty as well. So 8:32 to go in this second quarter, and that's going to put them well behind the sticks here with about 3rd and, I'd say, 18 or so.
Yeah.
Half the distance, I would think.
At the 12-yard line.
So it's going to be, the ball's going to be spotted at the 12. It's going to be 3rd and 18. All right, Claybo takes a snap, drops back, looks deep over the middle, broken up by Gustafson, number 13.
Pretty nice job there by Oliver Luck because it looked like that ball was going to get to Tate Gustafson.
It looked like Tate was ready to field one of his punts there. He was just kind of sitting and waiting on that ball to get to him. That was a heady play by Luck just to knock it down.
A little bit of a fair catch going on, I think, and Luck did the right thing there. He played a little defense and made sure that they got a punt.
Gustafson actually leads the EDC in punt return yards, so he's doing a nice job as a punt returner.
Really nice punt return last week against Century up the sideline. We'll see if he can catch this one clean. Good baseball player, knows how to catch that ball and get moving.
On the fly. So here comes a punt for the Eagles deep in their own territory, so the Mustangs will get good field position on this next drive. That's just kind of a line drive punt. Not much to do there.
I think that was I think Davies is going to be unhappy with this call because I don't believe they are going to get it, even though it hit a Mustang, because I believe the rule is it's still going to have to get past the sticks. So even though it touched a Mustang first, I do not believe.
Yeah.
I think Davies, it will be the Mustangs' ball at the 29-yard line.
So the Mustangs will start at the 29. That's going to be really good field position. I believe they'll just pound it on the ground with Hendricks and their slot backs, Wilson and Rar.
You typically don't see a blocked punt 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, but I think that's what we saw there, Coach.
I agree.
I think you could chalk that one up for a first time I've ever witnessed that guy. But so the Mustangs will come out with 8:18 to go. Hopefully to make a better drive than the one they put together last time.
1st and 10 from the 28. Hand off to Hendricks on the left side. Oh, no, Workteam's going to keep it again, and he's just going to – he fakes off the handoff to Hendricks, and Workteam just kept in the backfield, and he stopped.
Good discipline by Davies on that one, not falling for that, stringing that out, and Working Team saw there was nothing doing, going left, tried to reverse his field, and, again, that discipline to stay home for the Davies end on the other side, and Working Team just had to go down.
Yeah, nice. You know, the Davies DNs there just kind of collapsed and forced Working Team to, just kind of go down. Working Team couldn't really get to the outside.
I'm going to have to ask the aforementioned Grant Michael Working Team III about that one, turning it around.
So here's Rar. He gets a carry up the middle, cuts back up to his left.
That ball came out, I think.
Ball came out.
Did come out.
See if the Eagles come up with it. That'll be huge.
No motions from Davies, no motions from Sheyenne. I think they're going to say that it's still in the possession of the blue team.
All right, so the Mustangs keep the ball. Nice yardage there from Caden Rahr. 3rd and short.
Yeah, Caden took a nice burst through there, but
it was. And these situations, having that 3rd and short, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, that's manageable. Davies so far tonight, the vast majority of the time, has had those 3rd and long situations, and the defense for the Mustangs has been able to pin their ears back. So we know this is 4-down territory for the Mustangs. They got him to jump, or a Mustang lineman moved as well. I'm not sure which route they're going to go.
So
looks like they're going to call the false start.
It's going to be on the Mustangs. False start, 5-yard penalty. So 3rd and 10 coming up now from the 29.
So that's last 2 possessions on 3rd down where the Mustangs have kind of bit themselves and pushed themselves back here on some penalties.
Yeah.
So.
Newton's not going to be happy if the Mustangs keep shooting themselves in the foot when they have a decent
this
amount of yards.
This is not how Newton's offense is built for these 3rd and long. Nobody's offense is built for 3rd and long.
Not in high school, no.
Morganstein, he's going to drop back. Pass is broken up over the. It's going to be. I believe that's going to be
I don't believe so. I think they're going to say it hit the ground.
Hit the ground. It looks like it was intercepted at first.
Nice job by Davies Jackson Greff on closing on the ball.
Xander Newton
Newton was open for a second there,
he was
but
the intended receiver.
Greff came in.
That pass looked like it was intercepted at first, but then the ball hit the ground, popped out. Newton got his first target of the evening. 4th down now. Morganstein pump fakes to his left. Looks deep. Pass is broken up. Right around the 5. Xander Newton got his 2nd straight target on that one, and the Mustangs come up empty.
Pretty good job there by the Davies defense pinching Newton. Pretty good ball there by Grant Warkentine. Threw it up into a pretty tall receiver there in Newton, but unfortunately unable to come down with it.
I think Coach Newton was hoping that Xander was going to go up and use that frame, those long arms and legs of his, and go up, try and rise up above to get that. But regardless, it'll be a turnover on downs for the Mustangs. And Davies going to have 6:19 to try and make something out of this.
Here's the first running play for the Eagles. There is not going to be much.
And there's a flag as well.
It's going to be a flag. Flag is down. Eli Mock, he's the leading rusher for the Eagles this season. Eli Mock has 37 carries for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's going to be a sideline warning on the Mustangs.
Must have had a coach in the box there that the official bumped into as they were trying to move and eye the ball.
So here's Claybo. Hands it off to Mock, I believe, once again. Just the 2nd running play now. 2 running plays in a row after Davies was passing all night.
And I think you're going to have to get some run mixed in there.
Yeah.
Asking a freshman to throw that ball that much with those defensive linemen coming at that speed.
Claybo has thrown the ball quite a lot this year. He's 27 or 57 throwing, so he's not very accurate because, he faces a lot of pressure. For 488 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's thrown 4 interceptions.
I think he did almost have 300 yards passing last week against North, though. So, I mean, the guy can get it done.
He's going to drop back here. He keeps the ball. Comes back to his left. He's going to pick up the first down. Gets up to right around the 43.
And that's what he can do.
I was going to say, if I'm Davies, I think I maybe pick up on that a little bit, and maybe if it's not designed that way, to maybe start telling Claybo, if you're not seeing something right away, it's perfectly fine to tuck that ball and run, because he is so athletic, and when you have those receivers running off the D-backs and the linebackers, that leaves a big chunk of open area in the middle against the Mustang D.
1st and 10 from the 42. Oh, there's going to be another flag. This might be
I think the cadence got the Mustangs on that one, so it looks like the script is getting flipped a little bit. A couple of penalties here.
So the Eagles will get 5 free yards here as they get the Mustangs on the cadence.
And, you know, when the Mustangs are spread out the way they are, when the Davies Eagles throw 5 guys in the, in wide receiver sets, the middle of the field will be open on the quarterback draw. Probably not going to be a guy spying him around, so defensive linemen are going to have to be sharp.
Claybo, he pitches it. Not going to be much on that play. Oliver Lucht, he's the leading receiver for the Eagles. He gets a carry on that, but did not pick up much there. Tanner Hagel made the stop on that play. He had an interception against Century last Friday.
So Davies coming back here with about a 2nd and 4.
Now back to that 5 receiver look.
Yeah. I believe this is going to be a pass play here. And it is. Clay looks to his left. Looks to dump it off, but that's going to be caught. Right around the 45.
Well, and you can make that work when you're faced with 2nd and 4, 3rd and 5, those types of situations, and that penalty against the Mustang defense allowed that this time.
Yeah.
The cushion that the Mustangs are giving to the receivers, all you have to do is drive them back a couple of steps and cut off that route, and you're going to have a good look or a good chance of completing 4 and 5 yards all night long.
So Raymond Brown got the reception on the last play. Claybo looks to his right. That's going to be a fumble. Going to be an effort right around the 50.
Yeah, I think the ball just kind of slipped out of Claybo's hands.
Just slipped, yeah. It's also cold, so his hands are not going to have the best grip on that ball in this cold weather.
Haven't heard the name Theron Parson. I think Davies is throwing a different look than what we saw from Century last week. Century tried to man him up. That did not work. I think Davies is running a lot of doubles on Theron up in the middle, and that has, at least prevented Theron from getting through.
Yeah. Claybo, he's going to keep it. Does not get much.
I don't mind the call there, Coach. At some point, you're going to have to trust the guy to make a nice run up the middle. But, boy, he took a tough hit.
Looks like he slipped, though, a little bit, too.
Yeah, it's tough to get through those, and you see those linemen coming down hard on your quarterback. Always worry about the throwing shoulder and losing your air and all sorts of things. And like I said, he's not a big guy, Mason Claybo. He is a gamer. He's going to get back up and he's going to go, but you want to limit those shots for sure.
He's very agile and quick. Claybo keeps the ball.
And there it looks
he's going to roll to his right. He's sacked.
That's the first time we're going to get Theron Parsons' name called tonight.
Theron Parson gets his first sack of the night. He had 3 of those last week against Century.
And I think he got held as well.
Yeah.
I thought as he got through.
Parson got held.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably decline that guy.
It's actually going to be, I believe that was a half sack, actually. I think Kirkby and Parson.
Not sure why the ball has gotten moved to, they're going to have to say the loss of yardage. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. Parson and Kirkby recorded the half sack on that play.
Yeah, Theron just got through there so fast, and boy, that made it tough.
So here's going to be a punt. It's been a defensive duel here in the first half, only 7-0.
Pretty nice job. And oh, wow.
Gustafson keeps it. Goes up to his right. Gets it up to right around the 40, so solid return from Tate Gustafson.
Mustangs putting a little pressure on the punt block, too, and that does give Tate a little bit more time to field that punt and get upfield.
Hey, Mustang fans, Bell Bank Mortgage is proud to support West Fargo Sheyenne sports. Whether you're in the classroom, at home, or both, we hope you're inspired this year to push yourself beyond what you even imagined and never stop learning. Go Mustangs, Bell Bank Mortgage, equal housing lender.
So just a little bit over 2 minutes now remaining in the first half. Mustangs will start at the 39, so they got 61 yards to go here on the final drive. This starts off with the handoff to Race Wilson. He cuts back up field, picks up right around 4 yards.
Looked promising at first, but nice job on the back end there. Davies pursued on the backside and able to close that one down. You know, the Mustangs do have 2 timeouts here. We'll see how aggressive they get in this. It probably is going to determine whether or not they get this first down.
Yep,
Warren
no huddle here.
Right.
There's an open.
Looks
Race
downfield.
Wilson is open.
Race Wilson. Oh! Broken up. He's looking for a pass interference.
And that's unfortunately, I'm sure they're going to talk to Race Wilson after that. He was bleeding the wrong direction. If he comes back to the football, he's going to get hit by the defender, and that is definitely going to be pass interference. But as is, kind of the momentum that he was taking away from the football, that probably cost him getting that penalty.
And unfortunately, Workington didn't see him. Wilson got behind the defense and had 2 or 3 steps on the D-back for Davies. But by the time Grant saw him and got rid of it, there wasn't enough on the pass. And it's an incompletion with 1:34.
Race
now
Wilson
a little
was
bit behind the sticks.
Race Wilson was open, leaking out there. Workington's going to keep it. He just rolls out of bounds right around the 48. So it's going to be 4th, just short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and short coming up.
Little situational awareness, I think, by Grant would have been healthy, because if he would have just gotten maybe another yard or 2, we don't sit in that 4th down situation. This changes your play call probably a little bit here with a minute and a half left.
And probably means you may have to burn a timeout, or you're calling 2 plays in this huddle. But one of the plays is likely going to have to be something to Hendricks or something like that to make sure that you get the first down rather than being able to look downfield with a pass.
4th and 1. Hendricks keeps the ball. He's going to pick up the first down. Tackled right around the 49. So the Mustangs will move the chains.
Clock stops momentarily while they reset.
So they had a second play called.
Mustangs line up quickly. Workington keeps it, rolls out to his right.
He's got him deep. He's got him deep.
Pass is caught.
Xander
Newton.
I think that was actually Caden
Rahr, yeah.
Coming across across that formation from the backside.
I think I heard Caden Rahr from up here. He was waving his hands trying to get Grant's attention for about 15 yards, and that's tough when you're peeling back on the weak side. Nice job, Grant.
First and 10 from the 20. Workington pass is caught again on the outside.
And this
Race Wilson gets the reception.
And this will change your play calling here. 54 seconds to go, sitting at about the 3-yard line. You don't want to give Davies any time here, and that's going to be.
It's going to be a timeout. Mustangs will stop the clock at 54 seconds, so we're going to take a break. Back here. Mustangs completed a few passes. Caden Rahr had a big play, gets up to the 20, and then Race Wilson caught a 15-yard or so pass. So the Mustangs throwing the ball through the air here on a couple of times. And as you said, Dan Wolf, when we were during the break there, the Mustangs have been riding the ball on the ground, pounding on the ground with Hendricks and their slot backs, and then they just go to the air.
Boy, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I see that Cheyenne's able to move the ball through the air that same way, that's going to really make me concerned if I have to game plan for them, as Hendricks is going to grind one down to about the half-yard line, 43 seconds and running.
Hendricks almost got his second score.
Coach Newton on the sideline saying, slow down, slow down, slow down. Hendricks some timeouts to use.
Hendricks almost got his second score of the evening. He gets it once again. He's in for the touchdown. His second of the evening, 18th of the season. And the Mustangs will go up 2 scores here against the Davies Eagles.
Good night for all those of you that have Josh Hendricks on your fantasy football teams, as he's racked up his second score of the night.
And that was about as good as you could have expected for the Mustangs. 2 minutes left on the clock, doing a little bit through the air, get all the way down to the end zone, and now there's 30 seconds left, not much for Davies to do much of anything.
And I think what was impressive was Workington showing that leadership. We've talked about so often during the year as the point after is good. Workington seemed very calm and in control of that whole drive. whether it was on the ground or in the air. There was no bad passes. He went through his progression, his reads, and found open receivers. And like I said, if you're a defensive coordinator and you know what Sheyenne can do on the ground, seeing that they have that potential in the air probably makes you a little bit concerned.
So the Mustangs will go up 2 scores. Birnbaum connects on his second extra point, so that's good to see from him. Just 29 seconds remaining here.
And that's got to be really deflating for Davies. Had an opportunity to kind of close the gap there with the drive of themselves and not able to do it. And they turn it over to the Mustangs on the punt. And next thing you know, the Mustangs push it right down your throat. I guess it is nice to see that it's not just the passing game is not just the exterior guys. It's not just the wide receivers. They're getting the slot backs involved, and that makes it really difficult, especially on the linebackers for the opposing team.
Yeah, if you know that you can't key on that one particular player, now you have to be responsible for everybody in the routes. That makes your job so much more difficult.
So here's the kickoff. I believe it's just, it's going to be that blooper to the right side. Received right around the 20, right around the 25. Nice return here.
Mustangs lose contain on the right-hand side of that pooch kick, and that does give Davies an opportunity with 22 seconds left. So
Oliver lucked on the nice return there. Picked up right around 25 yards. Received it at the 25 and got it up to the 50. So
I think there was a little adjustment on the special teams there. I think they had Raymond Brown and they had Oliver Luck deep, and they moved him to the front side to receive those because they saw the pooch kicks.
Oh.
And the
had a hold on the return.
It's going to be a hold. Oh, that's killer after that nice return from Luck.
I was just going to say, seeing what we had seen Clabo get loose with some of that running when the passes weren't available, and that with that field position that the D-line was going to pin their ears back, and that would have been a great chance probably for Davies to try and take advantage. But now with 70-some yards to go.
Bad snap there. Claybo's going to keep it up the middle.
And I think they probably are going to see that play and be content with just being done. You don't want to turn this into a bad script play where all of a sudden the Mustangs turn it into something else. They look to be in deep quarters defense. Going to be real tough to get something over the top or even break something on the interior, but we'll see.
This is going to be the last play of the first half here. Claybo's going to drop back. Gives it his all downfield. Oh, almost intercepted.
Tate Gustafson
almost had it. So that's going to end the first half. Mustangs are up 14-0. So, guys, how did you feel about that first half?
Pretty good first half. I do see Tate Gustafson down. I don't know if he lost his wind or if it was his shoulder or something. I guess see the trainer running out. But overall, first half, pretty good.
We talked about this could have easily been kind of a trap game and those sorts of things. Certainly, I'm sure Coach Newton's going to talk about cleaning some things up, some of the penalties and some of the issues they had. But to walk out up 14-0 on this team, I think you're going to be very happy with that.
Yep, and the Mustangs, they'll lead 14-0. We're going to come back just a few minutes before the second half begins to talk about some of the other scores going on around the state and, some of the second half predictions. We'll take a break.
You're watching Sheyenne Mustang Media. 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 You're watching Sheyenne Mustang Media.
So welcome back to Essentia Health Mustang Stadium. We got a special guest here at halftime. It is our new activities director, Corey Herman. Welcome, Corey.
Thanks for having me.
Corey, we got to ask you. You're coming over here from Moorhead. They obviously have strong programs over here, and you've seen them over in the Moorhead side. Tell us what's your first impressions of what Sheyenne has here.
I'm very impressed. I was always still very connected with Sheyenne because I live in the district. My wife teaches in the district. My kids go to school here. So, a lot of the people that I built relationships with, I stayed connected with too. So, it's been a really good transition. But, honestly, the first thing that I always notice is, how well run all the programs are. We have all of our coaches. Majority of our coaches are in the building, and, each one of their programs are extremely successful.
And, obviously we've had a lot of teams wrapping up here. What have you seen from kind of like, how these the soccer program from the volleyball team and even in the fine arts, the level of excellence, what impresses you most about what you're seeing so far?
It would be the connections that the coaches have with the athletes, with all the other participants. I really like to see it from behind the scenes. And, when I was in the coaching world, you don't get to see all the other sports. You're so entrenched with all the things that you're doing that you don't have a chance to really soak in all the other stuff. But, I really like to see those behind-the-scene connections, the relationships that are built, the appreciation from the athletes and the respect that the athletes have for all their coaches too.
Corey, as you mentioned, you've had a connection to the district, but we know that you've done a lot of coaching over the years, whether it's been football and weightlifting and all these things. Obviously, your role has changed now as an activities director. Give us a little insight. What have you found maybe interesting or challenging as an activities director as opposed to being a coach, and maybe what's a nice surprise? What's one thing that has been pleasantly surprising to you in your new role as the activities director at Sheyenne?
I would say probably the number one thing that I notice is that your schedule gets scrapped very quickly. You can have a plan, all these things that you want to get done during the day, but all of a sudden something will happen, or somebody will come in that needs something right now. And
is that a reference to me, Mr. Herman?
No, it's not.
All right, I thought maybe it was a cheap
shot.
Plenty.
I was going to say truth in advertising to the Mustang listeners and viewers out there, because I've also gone into Mr. Herman's office and told, get out. If you're just here to visit, I got things I got to do, so go ahead and you can leave.
I appreciate those conversations, though, too, because there's a lot of times where you're sitting in there behind the desk and you're hashing out schedules or whatever it is, and having somebody come in there and just have a good conversation and fill you in on what's going on too. As far as like pleasant surprises go, I'm stepping into a program that is extremely established. You're not walking onto a sinking ship. So I was very fortunate with that, where everything is rising, everything is getting better. All these teams are doing such great things, from the soccer team taking third place at state to the golf team, finishing up in the top 10, and the tennis team, having a great finish as well. And then now, being able to be a part of all the arts and things and music, it's awesome. It's really a fun job.
Well, on behalf of the coaches, we've really appreciated having you around, and the advisors, certainly all you've done for Mustang Media and helping us get our stuff off the floor running. And we really appreciate your time and effort. I know you tend to get a lot of the negative phone calls in your office, but you probably don't hear about all the wonderful things that you're doing, and we just want to let you know that we appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys too, and all the students that are involved with Mustang Media. They are definitely creating a very impressive product, that's for sure. So keep it up.
All right, so that's our activities director, Corey Herman. If you see him around, make sure you thank him. This is a thankless job oftentimes, a lot of hours put in, and that's definitely something that we appreciate is how much time, effort, and energy he's put into these Mustang programs. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back, and Jackson Miller's going to fill us in with some information, some stats about the first half, and let us know what's going around in the state.
So here we are. The second half is about to get underway here. So here's what's going on around the state. This is a lot of information thrown at you here in the final week. So for the EDCA division, Devils Lake, who sits in 4th place with a 4-4 overall record, 3-3 in conference play, is taking on Jamestown at home tonight. Jamestown is 6-2 on the season, 4-0 in conference play, and they've clinched the A West, the single A West division title. Wahpeton is sitting in 3rd place. They're hosting Fargo North tonight, and Fargo North is sitting at top of the A East division. Wahpeton's 5-3 overall on the season. All of Fargo North's wins have come in conference play. They've came in conference play. Their losses are against Dickinson this year and 2 AA teams, which were Sheyenne 2 weeks ago and Davies last week. Fargo South shut out Grand Forks Central last night, 37-0. Fargo South finishes at 4-5, while Grand Forks Central finishes at 2-7. Grand Forks Red River finishes at 4-5 with the win over Valley City last night as well by a score of 21-0. Valley City finishes at 3-6. For the single A action out west, Bismarck St. Mary's defeated Watford City 41-2 on Wednesday night. St. Mary's finishes at 8-1, and they're in 2nd place in the A West division. Watford City will finish winless at 0-9, and they'll look to get back on track next year. Dickinson beat Turtle Mountain Community High School 22-8. They'll qualify for the playoffs, and Turtle Mountain is going to miss the playoffs as well. They finish at 1-8. And now for the AA division. Last night, the Packers defeated the Shanley Deacons last night, 35-21. The Packers finished their regular season at 7-2, while the Deacons finished their season just a bit over 500 at 5-4. And now you take a look at the scores out west for the AA division on Wednesday night. Bismarck High squeaked their way into the playoffs with the win over Williston, 50-28, and they'll finish at 3-6. They're likely going to be the 8th seed and probably play the Mustangs, who will be the 1 seed in the playoffs. Williston finishes at 2-7, and they'll look to get back on track next year. And after getting shut out by Sheyenne last week, Bismarck Century shut out Minot 27-0 last night. Bismarck Century claims another conference title. They'll finish 8-1, and they went undefeated in conference play this year. Minot is going to squeak their way in as well. They finished 2-7. And then Mandan defeated Bismarck Legacy last night, 32-28. Both teams finish at 3-2 in conference play and 4-5 overall. The standings will be finalized next week. It's pretty confusing this year because, you know, we were talking at halftime. The playoff seeds are determined by the quality results formula, so there's going to be a lot of tie-breaking going on based on, you know, the point differential and the conference records and the overall records. And so for the playoffs, in the single A division, it's going to be 5 teams from the East, 3 teams from the West, and then for the AA division, it's the other way around. 5 teams from the West, 3 teams from the East.
Boy, Coach Wolf, I do wonder, I look at all this stuff, how this is playing out with different kind of power index and that sort of thing. It kind of reminds me of the way things used to be in college football. There was a lot of confusion about formulas and records and who's got what, but you go 8-0. And I think you know what seed you got.
That's absolutely right. So as we look at the second half, I'm sure Coach Newton talked about cleaning up some of those penalties from the first half. And look, if we just stick to our script, use power football, I'm sure Coach Karch made a couple adjustments on defense. If we just make sure that we know what we're doing, everyone's doing their job on the defensive end, we should get out of here with a victory and we can focus on preparing for the playoffs. Davies, on the other hand, probably ought to talk about, you know, just trying to get some rhythm going, seeing what we can do. But, of course, Sheyenne starts with the ball, and that's going to make it awfully tough for the Eagles. So,
and, you know, obviously the Eagles have got to be – they got to be writing emails and protesting. And I mean, this is a playoff football team. This is a heck of a football team.
It's weird because
it's got to feel just so disheartening the way things played out this year, just by the kind of the randomness of this new system. So
all 4 of the, you know, East teams from the AA are in the state poll, and then it's just Century there sitting at number 2. So,
and it seems to be pretty much the consensus, all the people that we've talked to that know a lot more about this than we do, that this is probably a 1-year experiment, that there's going to be tweaks to it, and that's probably not a whole lot of consolation for the Eagles. But you know, it is what it is. This is the system. Everyone knew what it was coming in. So, you know, I think Davey's going to look to play that spoiler role in the second half, and we'll see how it turns out.
And by the way, you can find more information on the EDC football sites and the NDHSAA website as well, the North Dakota High School Activities Association. And what I recommend is the WDA website, wdasports.org. They got a lot of information about all this stuff and, you know, the standings and stuff like that, along with the history, you know, about all of the teams.
You know, this has got to be a pretty interesting second half. We talked a little bit about this during the halftime break, but neither of these teams really are playing for anything of significance here going into this second half other than pride, and that obviously for most players is enough. Yeah. But, you know, as a coach, how much are you going to put on film?
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty reluctant to do anything that's going to tip my hands. If there's something that we've been doing, you know, maybe a little wrinkle you might show, but I think by and large you play pretty close to the vest if you're Sheyenne and you continue to lead, and it looks like going to be a favorable outcome for you. Davies maybe has less to protect and play for. I think maybe you're going to probably see, you know, let's take Mason Clabo out for a spin and let's see what he can do tonight. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that running and those sorts of things. But for Sheyenne, I don't think you tip your hand much. You just stick with what's got you here. Josh Henricks, Caden Rohr,
up the middle,
Race Wilson, and just keep doing those things.
Yeah, that's a lot of information, you know, thrown at you.
Well, I think one thing that you're probably looking for as a coach here, if you can put points on the board, extend this lead to 21, you might be able to say to yourself, we can protect our guys in the fourth quarter, avoid injuries, and put in our second string here. That's probably got to be a halftime goal from these coaches, and the efficiency that you're going to want to see out of this first drive is probably going to be pretty telling on whether or not they're going to be able to do that.
Especially in the regular season finale. Here's a handoff to the right side. Caden Rahr.
Good explosive run through the tackle there by Caden Rahr, number 27 for the Mustangs. He looks to be back to full health there.
Yeah, it's good to see. You know, it's kind of unfortunate. You know, he was looking forward to playing against Century, and he was unable. He missed 2 weeks. He missed Fargo North and Century, but he's a valuable running back for us, and it's going to be exciting to watch him in the postseason.
And I think that's probably what they were thinking with him, being a little cautious. He probably could have played against Century.
Yeah.
But, you know, Race Wilson really came in and played well. So did Ince. And here's the aforementioned Caden Rahr there, I think, picking up the first down, are going to be very close to it.
Yeah, Connor Ince, he had a touchdown last week. He had the touchdown on the opening drive. Josh Hendricks had the second score of the night for the Mustangs last week against Bismarck Century.
I think they're going to call for a measurement here, or they're going to say actually it is a first down.
First
down.
down.
The tip of the ball to the marker. So
Caden Rahr picks up the first down. Ball's going to be spotted right around the 49.
And what can you say about Connor Ince, too, as a player? Boy, he's done everything for the Mustangs here. You know, it's got to be tough on him to not have the position, but he's kind of our utility guy. He holds it on extra points. Playing running back when we had to. He played a little bit wide receiver.
He's going to break free to the outside. Gets down to the 30, finds a hole on his left side, and he picks up 24 yards on that play.
I think that's the part of Henrik's game that we don't get to see very often, because he is kind of that bowling ball going up the middle. But nice cut, and shows he has a little burst of speed as well, and picks up a big chunk of yardage there.
I think the most surprising part of that play is Josh Hendricks went out of bounds. There was a D-back coming at him, and instead of actually going and making the hit, he ran out of bounds. So I don't know if somebody was yelling at him on the sideline or what the deal was. That's not typical.
So that's actually going to be a 22-yard game. Ball's going to be spotted at the 32. Here's a handoff to Rahr. Not much on that play.
And this is also what makes this team really tough. They're going to go into this tight flex formation. You're not going to see a lot of different formation variables in this drive here. And it's still tough to stop because you have slots going both directions. You have linemen leaning on you, and you got Josh Hendricks running down the gap. And, boy, that just makes it really hard on any defense, because you probably know what's coming. Here's tight flex again. It's going to be one of those three plays.
It's going to be Hendricks to the left. The D-line there by the Eagles is there to make the stop. Hendricks did not pick up even a yard on that.
I think, too, then, as you were saying, Aaron, you as a defense, you work on that and how tough it is, and then all of a sudden working team pulls that ball out and then goes on that little option run on to the outside, and that makes yet another option that makes Sheyenne so dangerous offensively, and that's a lot to ask for a defense to deal with.
And it's not a lot of mystery in what they're doing here,
Nope.
but there is no scout team
Nope.
that's going to replicate what those three guys are going to be putting in front of you, and that makes it tough.
So here's a handoff to Wilson, I believe. He gets up to right around the 30. You know, the Mustangs, too, chipping away at that clock. Already, there's, only 7.5 minutes remaining now already, so the Mustangs have already chipped off, 5 or so minutes. Or actually, no, they got the stop, but they've chipped off, 3 minutes on this drive alone.
Davies doing a good job here. They gave up a lot of yards to start with, but they've put Sheyenne into a 4th and 9 hole here, and we know Cheyenne's going to go for it, but Davies tightened up defensively, and we'll see if Sheyenne can do something
drops
here.
back, looks for downfield, goes out to his right, still trying to look, so he just lollipops it over the middle. Incomplete, looking for
into the hands of Caden Rahr. Wouldn't have had enough for the first down anyway. Only one guy flooding to the right side, and he was well covered. I think that was number 7, Logan Holsing, kind of flooding to the right side there. So nobody open, and I guess if there's one thing that maybe working team does not want to do, throwing across back into the middle, does turn into some pick sixes. It can be a dangerous pass, but obviously on fourth down, he's trying to make something happen.
If you're going to throw it over the middle, you got to zip it. You can't just lob it over the middle like that. So the Eagles, they get a stop here. You know, their D-line's doing a nice job of limiting Hendricks up the middle. So here's Clayville. He dumps it off.
Good job by Kirkaby there.
He's looking for Langqua, Andrew Langqua, number 11. That's incomplete. Goes right through his hands. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Going back to that last play by the Mustangs, you know, one thing that RAR probably had to do, though, is also come to the ball and close that gap to make it a catchable ball or a makeable pass with that. And by standing in one spot, that's where that danger really comes in when that quarterback tries to throw back across the middle.
Clay ball. Not a lot of time. Gets rid of it quickly. Incomplete.
That one skips at the heels, I think, of Lockway again.
Yeah, Lockway. Once again, he's had a lot of targets tonight. He's got a couple catches and right around 5 targets. So he's kind of been the top target tonight.
And this is what makes Davies a little bit gonna struggle in this second half. If they can't pick up any yards on 1st and 2nd down, Mustangs can tee off, pin their ears back at the D-line, and sit back at the sticks here and play defense. Boy, that's going to make it tough for Claybo.
The best offenses are usually successful on 1st down. So here's Claybo. Tries to juke, but he's sacked. Can't go anywhere in the backfield.
There's not a surprise.
Carter Hens is there for the sack.
Not a surprise who made a sandwich there.
And in watching that play unfold, nice little twist run by Theron Parson there. He started inside and swung around the outside and met at the quarterback with that. So probably something that maybe Coach Karch talked about with the defense of not letting 2 guys get their hands on Parson every time, running some twists, some stunts of some kind to try and free him up.
Nice punt there. Gustafson's going to let that just roll back. He's going to get it right around the 22.
I think he was trying to avoid it, and it took one of those goofy bounces and hit him,
nice
so he fell on it.
They did it. They were able to flip the field a little bit here. So with under 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, we are going to remind you of one of our sponsors tonight.
Bellbank Mortgage is proud to support the West Fargo Sheyenne Mustangs. Rates are great, so if you're considering moving up or maybe even becoming a homeowner for the first time, talk to the experts at Bell. We'll help you make home happen. Bellbank Mortgage, equal housing lender. Go Mustangs.
So I'm going to guess, guys, we're going to see some tight flex formation again. And there she be.
1st and 10 from the 22. Mustangs' 2nd drive here of the 2nd half. That's going to go to Josh Hendricks up the middle. Gets up past the 30 for an 8-9-yard gain. Hendricks has once again been the main workhorse here for the Mustangs tonight.
I think the assist on the tackle there may go to Brennan Selheim for the Mustangs. He got upfield with his man and couldn't get out of the way of Hendricks as he was going upfield.
That's actually going to be a 1st down for the Mustangs. It's going to be a 10-yard gain on that. Right around the 32.
And again, the Mustangs appear to be winning in the trenches, Coach.
That's the thing. That's been every game that we've seen this year. That's the hallmark of the Mustangs. They win the line of scrimmage.
Pass is caught up to the 48.
They did against Century last week. They did against Minot the week before. They're doing it here again. That's what makes this defense or this team so tough, both offensively and defensively, is the front lines.
Nice catch there by Holsing, I think.
Logan Holsing made the catch after Workteam rolled out to his right. Nice gain there from the Mustangs, right around 18 yards. 1st and 10 from the 47. Hendricks keeps it. Picks up a nice gain, right around 5.
And again, you see those offensive linemen, they are on the toes, and the defensive linemen for Davies are on their heels. And God, at some point, it's just got to wear on you.
It wears you down, and you get into that deep into the 3rd, beginning of the 4th quarter, and it's just so hard to get off the ball quickly as a defender. And the offensive line just kind of has their way with you.
It's not that Davies doesn't have defensive players up the middle that can do that, but over time, that just wears.
Keeps it to his right, cuts back on the middle. He gets past the 1st down marker inside the 40. Nice carry there from Grant Warkentine.
Good spin move. So, Jackson, we were talking a little bit about this during halftime, but, your predictions for what this might look like here going into the playoffs. Who do the Mustangs look like they might have next week? Should everything kind of play out as we expect?
I believe it's going to be Bismarck High. They're at the bottom of the AA West, so it's going to be most likely Bismarck High, just, based on they're 3-6, but they don't have as good as a conference record as, like Minot and stuff like that, because Minot's 2-3 in the conference.
Yeah, we were trying to figure that out, if it's going to be Minot next week or Bismarck High.
It's one of those two, I believe.
One of those two that's probably going to be coming up here to play on our home turf.
And the Mustangs will get home advantage as the 1 seed, so they'll get 2 home games here. That's if they win in the quarterfinal and semifinal rounds. And then the state championship is at the Fargo Dome as usual for the Dakota Bowl. Now just a little bit over 3.5 minutes remaining now. 2nd and 9 from the 38. Hand off to Hendricks up the middle. Picks up a few yards on play, 3 to 4 yards.
We do want to take some time to thank a couple of people that are working our program tonight. Jacob Fisher is our director. He's running the stream for us. And Connor Husted is on camera. So thanks to those two gentlemen for the time and effort you're putting in for Mustang Media.
Especially in this, freezing cold weather. They're up. Husted's up top.
Yeah, poor Husted coming right from work and getting up on the top. He had shower head and he was shivering a little bit, but he's a gamer.
That's pitch to Race Wilson.
Pitch goes to number 41.
Race Wilson picks up just a few. He's had a couple touches tonight. We'll see if he can break free on one.
Any predictions on who else might come through in these first round brackets next week in the playoffs? It looks to me like the Packers are playing well at the right time.
I think, the Deacons, they've dropped a couple games, but they play pretty good in the playoffs. And then you got Century there at the number 2 seed. I believe they'll make a run in the playoffs as well, with their home field advantage because they're the number 2 seed. Here's Hendricks to the right, breaks free up the middle. Nice gain there from Josh Hendricks.
So probably Sheyenne, Century, West Fargo. Who else do we see as probably hosting a first-round playoff matchup?
I believe, there's going to be a lot of tiebreakers between Legacy and Mandan because they both hold the same conference record and overall record. So I believe it's going to come down to kind of that points for and points allowed ratio. You can check more, for the fans out there, you can check more on the WDA website. They got a bunch of the standings on their website. So, the final standings will be determined next week. Workteam looks deep, and that's a little too strong there.
Good coverage on Caden Rahr.
He's looking for Caden Rahr in the corner there.
I think the coverage was Raymond Brown on that one. Nice job.
Raymond Brown, actually, he's got a couple interceptions this year. He does a good job on the defensive side of the ball as well. He's not just a receiver. He's also a good DB, and he actually has a pick 6 this year as well. 2nd and 10 from the 21.
And if the Mustangs can put points on the board here and get this into the 4th quarter, that's going to be...
Workateen's going to keep it to his left. Nice hard run there from Graham Workateen. Gets inside the 15.
And again, bringing Sheyenne into that very manageable 3rd and short situation. You get 2 plays to get that first down. 3rd and 2 here. Probably some kind of dive to Hendricks. And just the same thing that Sheyenne does. Grind with about a minute left in the 3rd quarter.
Looks like they're going to call for a substitution here. I'm going to take a look at something. So it looks like they bring in, I think that's
Brennan
Bryce
Selheim came off the field.
And Kane comes in to play tackle, I believe.
3rd and 2 from the 13. Hand off to Hendricks to the left. He's wrapped up. Doesn't get anywhere.
To number 32.
Probably not a bad thing when you're one of your starters comes out and you bring in a guy who's 6'8", and 255 pounds. And that's
6'8"?
Bryce Kane. He is the prototypical size for an offensive tackle. He's a big boy.
6'8", 255 pounds. That is.
So the guy probably on the Davies side who said, "Oh, my guy's out. I got somebody else. Got a brand new guy coming in." He sees that coming in. That's got to be a little tricky.
4th and 1. So Josh Hendricks was just short on that last play from the 12.
And they'll let that one run down to the end of the third quarter. So
the Mustangs lead 14-0 here. We're going to take a break, and the fourth quarter is going to get underway here shortly. So we are back here at Essentia Health Mustang Stadium. The fourth quarter is about to get underway. Mustangs lead 14-0 here in the regular season finale.
You know, 14-0 lead for most teams going into the fourth quarter. That does seem still manageable on the Davies side, but the way the Mustangs have played defense this year, Jackson, Coach Wolf, it's got to be, it's got to feel almost insurmountable unless you can make a couple of big plays happen.
The Mustangs have, held their opponents to just 56 points this year, so the Mustangs are only giving up an average of 7 points a game. So that's just a touchdown, really. And, if they shut out Davies again, that point margin is going to drop even more. And, the Mustangs, too, they got 4 shutouts as well, so half of their wins this year have been shutouts. Here's a handoff to Hendricks to the right side.
Boy, great gang tackle, I think, by Davies, but
I think he got it.
That's all Josh Hendricks again.
Hard, gritty runs up the middle.
And it almost looked like the contact happened in the backfield, and he was able to kind of advance it just far enough to get the first down. Yeah. Makes it tough.
Mustangs looking to go up 3 scores now as they're inside the 10. Or right around the 10 after Hendricks picked up 1 yard.
And I did say, one thing I was looking for out of this drive is the efficiency and the time management.
Morcantine looks for the corner of the end zone. Pass is caught!
No.
Or looks
saying the pass was caught, but they're saying he did not come down in bounds.
I'm not quite sure what they're saying happened.
That was
that he
Xander
bobbled
Newton.
It, or he's confused, and I think we are up in the box too. We're gonna have to take a look at the replay, see what
side judge there declared he was out of bounds.
Xander Newton, the pass was caught by Xander Newton, but
They're going to say that he was out of bounds. Pass is incomplete.
I don't think he got his feet down.
And you only need 1 foot in high school. It looked
good.
It looked
it
pretty
also
good from
looked
this
like
angle.
Also looked a little bit like Newton got a little bit of a
he might have got a little hand check on it.
I
kind of thought maybe if there was going to be anything, it was going to be that offensive pass interference, but he extended that arm and no flag, but they said he didn't get in. And here was a dive here, I think, by Hendricks, and that's going to push us into about a 3rd and 8. There is an opportunity for a first down here still.
3rd and 8.
If they can get the ball to about the 1 yard line.
It's 3rd and 7 from the 8 yard line.
Nice back shoulder throw there for Grant Morcantine.
Really
we didn't get the touchdown, but you throw it high into the outside where only Newton can get it.
Wonder if they're going to go to something like that again.
This is a roll.
Morcantine rolls out to his right, gets rid of it. Pass is broken up.
Oh, it was tipped for a moment there, and just barely out of the hands of Carter Menz.
Yeah, Carter Menz almost caught that. Eli Mock broke up that pass. He's also a good DB for the Davies Eagles. So the Mustangs almost scored on that. So we'll see. They got one more shot here. They're in 4-down territory. 4th and 7 from the 8. So
and now they're going to
go
now
for
a field goal.
They're going to go for a field goal here. So this is going to be from 25 yards. Snap spot. Birnbaum's right-footed kick is blocked.
Now this is returnable. No.
And with that, Davies will take over.
They're going to take over right around
the 8-yard line.
8-yard line with 10:37 to go in the 4th quarter, 14-0.
And if I'm not mistaken, only the second time Davies has touched the ball the entire second half.
It is, and again, if you have an offense that's predicated on rhythm and rhythm passing, that just makes it tough to get back out there in a cold night like tonight and try to find your rhythm again. See if Claybo can get his team going.
We're going to line up in that 5-receiver set again. Claybo's going to be low in the backfield. He looks to his left side. Pass is caught. That's going to be caught by Oliver Lucht. Broke a couple tackles, but he's wrapped up.
And if you looked at the highlights last week, that was what Davies was really doing well, as they made the first guy miss. Oliver Lucht, I think, had 3 touchdowns last week and a couple of big pass receptions, a big run. And tonight he hasn't been able to slip after that first tackle and find some extra space. Great job by the defense.
Yeah, Oliver Lucht coming into this one he had 26 catches, 326 yards, and 3 scores on the season.
Little trickery.
That's intercepted by Noah Olson. The sophomore cornerback gets his first interception of the year. Great moment for him.
Good discipline there by Noah Olson, not biting on the halfback pass, and lefty Lucht tried to sneak that one over the top, and nothing going. Turnover for the Mustangs. So 9:50 to go.
That's key because, now they're just going to run out the clock even more. And, there's by the time Davies even gets this that could have been the last drive for the Eagles. The Mustangs could run out the clock here.
The way they've been moving the ball and getting into these 3rd and shorts and just letting the clock tick, you might not be wrong, Jackson.
Yeah, there's 9:50 to go.
The one thing we haven't seen a whole lot of this second half is those attempts through the cadence to try and draw Davies offside. I almost wonder if we won't see something like that just to make this drive even easier for the Mustangs.
So that was a handoff to Hendricks to the right side. Picks up a few. Second and 3. So nice game from Josh Hendricks. Picked up 7 on that last play. They're going to go to him once again. He cuts back up to his left side. First down, tackled right around the 42.
Boy, when you're
7-yard gain.
Josh Hendricks or any running back, if you can run 5 yards without having any contact, that makes your job pretty easy. And as we talked about, the strength and the power of the Mustang offensive line, I think, is really starting to take its toll on that Davies D line now and kind of having their way with them.
Back-to-back 7-yard gains for Josh Hendricks. They're going to go to Josh once again to the left. He's going to pick up, gets up to right around the 38, so right around 4 yards.
And obviously you're going to look at this game and some statistics will be telling the yardage, the score. It does seem a little one-sided, but probably the most telling stat in my mind right now has got to be time of possession. Mustangs have just absolutely controlled the ball most of this football game.
There's 48 minutes of regulation. I believe the Mustangs, they probably have the ball for way over half of the game, probably almost 30 minutes of the 48 minutes played.
Well, I would be shocked if Davies even had 10 minutes of possession.
Here's a handoff to the right side to Caden Rahr. Picks up 2 to 3 yards. So the Mustangs just inching away.
So now they get themselves into that 3rd and manageable, knowing that probably they're going to be running a couple of plays here to pick up this first down.
3rd and 4.
This might be that time, Coach, where they see if they try to get you off sides here. And We'll see if the Mustangs have something on the edge or the interior, or maybe they're going to roll out, try to find some guys going to the tight flex again here.
Looks like it's going to be a run here. It's a pitch to Caden Rahr to the left side.
And he beat the edge.
He beats the edge, picks up the first down past the 30.
Number 27, Caden Rahr.
And he's explosive, guys. He's got that 10-yard burst that's going to make it really tough for any guy. If you don't maintain that discipline on the edge, on that defensive end there.
He's got one of the fastest 20-yard dash times, in program history as well when they were doing the testing.
Yep. Great athlete.
Yeah, Caden Rahr, he also, I think we were calling that basketball game, the C-Squad tournament last year, Canoli. He had 23 points against the Packers in the C-Squad championship.
He's a gamer, like Claybo. I think, I'd said that about Claybo to start the game. You turn the lights on, and some people just seem to like that. They like the moments. Caden Rahr's definitely one of those kids.
Yeah.
You flip that light switch on, and he doesn't care how many people are in the crowd. He wants to perform and play, and it's going to be exciting to see what he does over the next year and the playoffs.
6:50 remaining here. Mustangs 14-0 still.
Second
in the
and
fourth.
short this time. Just chewing up time, chewing up yardage.
They'll probably be, by the time Davies gets the ball again, there'll probably be, 2-3 minutes left.
Good run
Hand
here
off.
on the edge again. Some space. I think that's going to yield another first down. This one, I think, goes to is that Ensign this time?
It's Caden Rahr.
Caden Rahr again.
Caden Rahr gets the play to the right side.
I know there's at least one fan watching this game tonight who's really appreciating this kind of football, this time of possession stuff, and he happens to be the dad of the two of the guys on the sidelines here, and that's Coach Matt Entz for NDSU. This is the kind of football brand I think that people around the Midwest appreciate.
First attempt from the 16. Handoff to Hendricks to the right side. Picks up just 2 yards.
There's something to be said when you can play a football game and you hit a guy and you see some snot bubbles coming out and you feel like 3 yards in a cloud of dust is the way to win a football game. A lot of teams have switched over to these stretch and wide and
RPOs and really, and you can be successful with that.
Sure can.
But the system that Coach Newton has run here, it's reliable, and with the group he has this year, been ultimately super effective.
2nd and 6. Handoff to Wilson. He cuts back up to his right. Picks up 3.
Good patience on that run there by Race Wilson. I think initially he thought maybe he was going to hit the edge. Instead, he decides to cut it up the tackle where I think the play was originally designed, and he waited for that blocking to unfold and shoot up the gap.
3rd and 4 from the 10 coming up. 4:55 remaining.
Mustangs in no hurry getting to the line of scrimmage.
Working rolls out to his right. He's going to keep it up the middle. Slides right around the 5. Great decision making there by Graham Workentine to take the slide and not the hit.
And he's going to pick up
enough for a first down.
It's going to be 5 yards on the play.
And he avoided the hit. That's probably the most important thing at this point. Not the points. It's that you don't need to take an extra hit on your quarterback here.
Especially a week before the playoffs begin.
It looks like, we're never going to get to that point of letting those reserves in and those sorts of things. So, as you're playing out the game with those starters, you certainly don't want to put them in a situation where someone could get hurt this close to the playoffs. So keeping the clock moving, 1st and goal from the 5.
4 minutes remaining. Josh Hendricks could get his 3rd score of the night on this drive. That's a handoff to him up the middle. Josh Hendricks has 17 touchdowns on the year, and as I said, both of the scores tonight. So he's looking for that hat trick.
And if I were a betting man, and if this was a fantasy league, he'd probably get drafted overall number 1 in North Dakota.
Because he gets the carries and he gets the scores.
He's a bell cow. He's a touchdown monster.
He's 2nd in the EDC in touchdowns, just behind Parker Nelson.
who had a great game last night for the Pack.
Hand off to it's going to be a pitch to Race Wilson. He's in for the touchdown. The sophomore running back gets his first touchdown of the evening.
Well blocked, well conceived, but I think also that fatigue for Davies, just being worn down by that time of possession that Cheyenne's been able to maintain all game.
I believe that's going to be Race Wilson's second score of the year. He had one against Grand Forks Central in the first game of the year, so that's good to see. We do have a bright future for these slot backs.
Yeah, Race Wilson obviously spent some of the time this season on the sideline with an injury, so it's great to see him back to full strength. And boy, he flashed early in the season. And
snap spot, right-footed kick is up, is good. The P8, so Birnbaum's 3 for 3 on PATs this evening.
And 3:21 to go. We're going to take a quick break.
We are back here at Essentia Health Mustang Stadium. Mustangs lead 21-0. Race Wilson punched it in from a couple yards out for his second score of the season. And there's just 3:21 remaining here in the fourth quarter. So, this drive at this point for Davies is then, they're just playing about pride. They're playing for pride at this point.
We'd like to acknowledge our sponsor for tonight's game, Bellbank Mortgage. Bellbank Mortgage is proud to support West Fargo Sheyenne sports. Whether you're in the classroom, at home, or both, we hope you're inspired this year to push yourself beyond what you even imagined. And never stop learning. Go Mustangs, Bellbank Mortgage, equal housing lender.
Nice kick there. That's going to be a touchback. So the ball will be up to the 25.
I think Davies was looking for another one of those pooch kicks, and we decided, no, this time we're going to kick it through. Nice job by Birnbaum.
Birnbaum's had a good night. He had one 25-yard field goal blocked, but he's 3 for 3 on extra points.
And again, that was one of those things we said could be an X factor into the playoffs. So nice job by Birnbaum. We're going to need him to perform well when the game's on the line as these kind of playoffs progress here in the next few weeks.
First and 10 from the 20, so the ball actually starts at the 20 in high school after a touchback. Clayable drops back. He's going to be sacked by Carter Menz for his, I believe that's 3 sacks for him, actually 4 on the evening.
And that's, we talked about this early, Wolf. His burst off the line, if you're not going to switch that cadence up and he's going to jump that quick, you're in trouble.
Good players always do that. They start picking up on that rhythm and timing it, and they're able to go like they're shot out of a gun, and there's really not much an offensive lineman can do about it.
Clayable rolls out. He keeps it up the middle, cuts back to his right, tackled at the 20, right back where the drive started.
I think that was Tribe that sniffed that one out.
Matt Tribe, one of the leading tacklers in the EDC this year.
Looked like that time Tribe was playing a little bit of spy on the quarterback, kind of avoiding that big Claybo run up the gut. And now I think they'll pin their ears back and go after the quarterback again.
3rd and 10 from the 20. Claybo just floats this to the sideline. Incomplete. 4th down coming up. Oliver Lucht was the intended receiver.
Might see Davies go for it on this one.
With 2:12.
Might as well.
The outcome is pretty well determined at this point, and I wouldn't expect if they're unsuccessful for Sheyenne to do much other than take the victory formation, but it looks like Davies is going to try and go for it here. Obviously going to be looking to make some kind of pass.
So here's 4th down, just desperation at this point. Pass is caught right around to the 25.
Short of the sticks, though, and so that's going to be a turnover on downs.
And that's one of the things that gets talked about at every level, high school, college, pros. When you know you need 10, and especially in college or high school where wherever your knee goes down, you don't have that option. You don't have to be touched by that defender. You've got to run a route that, if it's completed, gets you a first down. And so 5 yards was helpful, but not in a
enough.
4th and 10 situation.
Luke
Well,
Lorenz.
sophomore Caleb Deer's in, running the second string offense here.
Luke Lorenz caught that play for the Davies Eagles. He's a sophomore as well. So, yeah, it's good to see Caleb Deer getting some minutes here.
I think that handoff went to Goldaddy. Chase Goldaddy on the dive. Caleb Deer content with just kind of walking out and getting a couple more plays in, and I think the Mustangs will be content with just letting this be the last couple of plays.
Yeah.
You know, Caleb Deer, he's, for the future for the Mustangs, he's kind of just like Grant, dual threat quarterback on the ground. He can throw it and he can run it.
Davies going to have to burn a timeout there. I think they were caught with the wrong personnel package or an extra player on the field, so they take the timeout. So, guys, as obviously this one's going to be a victory for Sheyenne, how should Coach Newton feel at this point, with the number 1 seed coming up? How do you feel about this game? What's kind of your take as they look to the playoffs?
Well, it's going to be another undefeated regular season. Mustangs are undefeated going into the playoffs once again. They'll be 9-0. I believe they're just, they're going to have to play playoff football, not turn over the ball, not make mistakes, play sharp, move the ball down the field as they do, control the clock, and really it's going to come down to defense because defense wins championships. So it's going to be exciting to see if the Mustangs can make a playoff run this year and capture their first state title.
I think the other thing that's probably apparent if you know Coach Newton is obviously he has a checklist of things that he wants to accomplish, but it certainly does not end with this regular season. He's brought his team to back-to-back state title games, and he's got one checklist that he knows he still needs to accomplish in his time here at Sheyenne, and they've done their job. I'm sure that's going to be his message to his boys tonight. You've done your job, but that's just checklist number 1. There's a job to do next week, and he's not going to be the guy that's going to sit here and jump up and down because they're undefeated. He knows he's a work guy.
I talked to Coach Newton a few weeks ago. I actually interviewed him for an article that I was writing on the Mustang football team for my journalism class, and yeah, he talked to it's the job's not done yet. They're still working hard towards a lot of goals, and they still have a job to do, and that's win a state title.
Well, and it's cliche, but we know everybody starts 0-0 next week. It doesn't matter what you've done throughout the regular season. Every game, every play means something when it gets to the postseason. And so you don't have that opportunity to let down or say, hey, there's always next week. You've got to be able to take advantage of each game, and you've got to go out and do that job. So I'm sure that'll be a big focus for Coach Newton and the Mustangs as they prepare for the playoffs to start next week.
And that's going to be the last play of the game. The Mustangs are going to win the game 14-0 once again, this time against the Davies Eagles. Davies will finish 6-3 on the season. The Mustangs capture their 4th straight conference title, and they'll finish 9-0 on the season. It's another undefeated regular season for the Mustangs, and they'll be the 1 seed in the playoffs, so it's looking bright for the Mustangs, but the job is not done yet. The playoffs start next Friday, and the Mustangs will either host Minot or Bismarck High here on their home turf at Essentia Health Mustang Stadium.
Well, we are hoping to do some playoff games next week. If not, hopefully we'll be able to get one of these, if not the quarterfinal, maybe the semifinal. We'll let you guys know. Please pay attention to us on social media. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram. And most importantly, if you could please subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that as well. Click that bell so you know when we go live, and you'll be notified so that you can follow along with us no matter where you're at. We appreciate your support. So
final thoughts, guys. What you guys think?
Well, it was what we've seen all year from Sheyenne. Maybe not their best effort overall, but extremely solid. All phases of the game, especially as we talked about the special teams, really came through. With the PATs at the end of the game. So I think if you're Coach Newton, you're going to say, hey, this. We did what we set out to do. 1 goal accomplished. Now let's move on. You come through relatively healthy. Now it's time to move to that next level.
And I guess my final thought would be hats off to the Davies Eagles. This team is a playoff team. They're a playoff caliber team, and unfortunately, for reasons beyond their control, this schedule didn't play out in their favor this year. That's a good football team that got beat tonight. Obviously the Mustangs recognize that. I'm sure all the teams in the East recognize that. They come out, they played with pride. They played these Mustangs tough. The Mustangs had to grind it out, and they did their job. So, but overall, that's a pretty impressive team that we beat tonight.
And the final score was 21-0. Excuse me on that. I forgot Brace Wilson scored on that last play. What were you gonna say, Dan? Oh, none.
Now that we've corrected our math,
yeah, Mustangs win 21-0. Their second straight shutout and their 5th of the season. So the Mustangs finish off their season at 9-0. Davies will finish at 6-3. Mustangs up, Davies Eagles down. So for Jackson Miller,
I'm Aaron Knodel.
Dan Wolf.
Mustang Media is out.